Good evening, folks. Time to do a bit more spectrum coding. Plenty more to add to this game. I've made some good strides today in the code before I went off to work. Didn't show it on video. More cool music from the maniacs of noise. 6581 C64. Excellent stuff. Let's get rid of that game starting soon sign. Right, here we go. Let's get rid of the tunage. So I'll run it and it will look like I've done absolutely nothing. Unless you're extremely eagle-eyed. Can you tell what it is yet? I don't know why there's no cars coming out the bottom. Oh, there we go. What I've actually done is quite big. I was worried about it, and it turned out to be remarkably easy, luckily. Show you what I did. In double buffering. I pretty much added that, which is a buffer side extra. That goes at the side, at the left and right side. So the top and bottom have no extra. You cannot go off the screen there. Good evening, Moz. Got back later than I hoped. Again, they're keeping me bloody late every time now. Pain, but oh well. Extra cash in it. Yeah, so this is quite, although it looks like nothing, it's really incredible step forward because we've managed to use all the same code. You'll notice this is now a little bit longer, and of course that matches. Then we've got this 2 here. That's so either side you can have 16 pixels. So you could draw a 16 pixel sprite. Well, I mean we can only do one. We can only move one character so at a time right now. But you could have a 16 pixel sprite at position 1 and you'd only be able to see half of it. So then of course I had to create one for the buffer window width, which is, you know, 2 of them. In fact, now it works. I'm going to try putting it to that because that's what it should say really. And that should actually be that, because that just saves having to change them all every time if you do want to change it. So let's just quickly try that out. Yeah, that's all good still. You'll particularly notice it where the cars are coming into the screen and out if you're clever enough. Even though if you look up, they do still disappear a tiny bit before they leave the screen. I need to do that rolling, you know, the shifting of pre-shifted sprites to overcome that, I think. I'd say this is more than adequate now for a Horus game, the movement of the cars at least. The spawning has much work that needs doing. So I restricted the player still to it. Well, I tried to restrict it to exactly the screen, but for some reason, probably to do with the speed, if it's more than one. But anyway, he goes exactly there. But we could allow him to go half. I don't know why I collided then. I didn't press down. That's a bit sketchy. Anyhow. Oh, I forgot to show you the crux of it. So there's the constants I made. And there's the ones I changed. Other than that, everything remained the same. All I added, I changed all of these ones, not these ones. They both shared the same constant before, and that was a stupid move on my part because they're not actually like related directly. They just happen to be the same with the way we set it up before. Luckily with find and replace, I was able to do this in just a few minutes, and I managed to not cock it up somehow. Cheers, Moz. So that's what I'm saying. We've added it there, and then there was one other thing. Oh, of course, I changed that to be half the size of the buffer window width, and that is really it. But the only other thing you want to watch out, I had to change all of the sprites here, just the top bits. What that? And the only bit I had to change was it was coming to 24, and I had to find a way to make it 28. And if you notice, there's a bit of a mess of pushing and popping going on. I understood it at the time, but it's quite nasty. Hence the comments there to help us out when we look at this in months' time. So if I thought that is everything you need to know about how I done that, and of course I went in and changed all these like the min y and all that. Really, we should have a different one for the player because I'm using this to spawn the cars as well as kill the cars as well as stop the player walking. If that makes sense. Interesting how max X is 24. You've got to remember there's an offset of 2 now on all of your positions on X. Excuse me. So really you'd want to add, if you wanted to think about position 0 being the top left corner still, you'd have to add this to all of your X positions. Or you can just remember to add 2. I mean, better to actually add that, and then if you change it. But I can safely say I'm never going to change that. The only time I'm going to change that is if I want to add Y as well. But Y scrolling is handled a bit differently, isn't it? If you actually think about it. When I say Y scrolling, I mean Y moving of sprites. But it shouldn't matter. The same principle should apply. It'll just be better on the Y because you will be able to actually be like 3/4 into the final cell, so you'll only see like your feet at the top or something. If you wanted to do that, we were using that already in Mikey at the bottom. We just allowed extra memory and we didn't have to worry. It just did it for Bob. If you remember, he could walk down below the screen, and it made the game seem a bit bigger than it was. So really I should just create a player one now. Why not? A player version of them constants is what I mean. So I've called these game window boundaries. That's probably alright, but we should probably just, this now really just relates to the cars. And then in player I'll just put, I'd love to learn how to do namespaces so I could just have min y again, but it would be in the player namespace. I'm not sure if that's even possible on assembly, or whether that would like use extra RAM or whatever. I'm hoping Microman makes an appearance, because I've had now 2 huge donations to my channel which have kept me going. I've got enough now for a pretty goddamn decent microphone, which I'm going to be investing in. I just want to make sure I get the right one. I got, of course, the large one from Moz, but I noticed the other day I haven't set up any alert for it or anything, but I got a sizable one from Microman as well. And I was, not expecting anything. I mean, I'm happy if someone puts 50p in the thing, into the bits jar when I get that working. So I'm just blown away by the generosity there. I wanted to mention it now before I go ahead and sort of forget about it, get into the coding, because I just noticed that in my emails. It was amazing, yeah. It was a massive, nice surprise for a change. So yeah, let's sort these out. I've got to now find a way of making the player use that at the player ones instead. I believe it's just in here. Yeah. But I didn't want that to sound like a veiled attempt at a beg, but I also couldn't let it go by without saying thank you a few times, so it's one of them. Okay, player min, player max. There we go. There probably is another one where we're using max, but that's probably just setting his position at the start, so it'll be alright. And now I can put that to 1. Although I find it weird that we could... Oh, is it because it's got to be less than? Of course, so we'll leave it at 2. But on this one... it's actually going to be buffer window width, which I believe is 28. Oh, take away 1. So that's really the only difference I wanted. So I didn't need these, but hey ho. It's clearer to have them. Should be able to walk halfway off the screen. Oh, walk all the way off the screen. Of course, it's 2. Even 2 probably makes him walk all the way off the screen. I probably actually need it to be 3. Yeah. Just to be fancy, can I do this? Not sure if it'll like this. I'll be amazed if it is. If it does. No. That's a shame. Because that's what I actually wanted it to be. Well, I guess what I actually want is that. You can. Yeah. Oh god, I couldn't survive without, could I? On that note, I actually did get DZOG debugger working with the help of Spec and oh god, I forget his name. Oh, Chromo Sundrift, I think is his full name. They helped me out to set up this with the sample program, and I did run it. I got it to run. It doesn't look like that. It has like just colours all over the screen. However, I did fail. I wanted to make a quick video of it before I went to work, but I tried to reproduce it like 3 times, and 2 times I failed, and 1 time I got it right. So I didn't bother doing that. But we're very close to getting that set up, but it's a whole new workflow, you know. Well, that's maybe a bit strong, but it does change the workflow a bit, you know, but probably for the better, to be honest. But there's some more advanced sort of stuff in play there. I have to create a JSON file called launch.json, and then it finds it in here and gives you the option all of a sudden to select, and I have to use a different emulator and everything. But I did do it, obviously not with this game. Next time I write a new game, we'll get the very bare basics of a game up and running, and then we'll try and bolt on this you know, the launch code and that. Anyway, that's at least a few days away, probably a week or so. So finally, I'm happy with that. I can even, you know, I'm going over the top, but I can change now the player's width, and I don't have to worry about changing this. I'm thinking ahead about copying and pasting this into another game, which is why I write it like that. And it's perfect, look. It's just what I wanted to see. Gives you a little bit more room in the game world to play with. Oh, see, the collisions aren't quite right, but they're nearly right. Morning, Fractal Mike. How are you, buddy? You're accurate. It's just become the morning here as well. Just a quick recap of what I've just been telling Moz there is I've basically extended the double buffering quite a lot, actually. I've allowed, I don't want to use the word buffer, but there's like a margin around the X. That collision needs fixing. It's not quite right. I did not do the Y, long story short, but I did only have to change just a few constants and a couple of lines in the, well, I say a couple of lines. One change to this line, but I think 256 times or whatever it is, 100 and something times. Does look nice, doesn't it? Thank you. It's almost time to colour the cars, I think. The problem with colouring is, if I colour any other sprite, any sprite, I've got to do them all. Because it will just cause a horrible effect otherwise. And knowing me, I'll probably run into trouble doing it and spend hours just painting the cars, you know, for the whole evening. But I've got to do it at some point. Do we use that? 2 references? I think we do. Oh yeah, this is all stuff we're actually using. Paint line. That's called here. That's basically part of that little routine. Let me put it up there. And the reason I wrote that was because this game uses like the colour is the same for the entire line. So I just came up with a way of, you know, only changing the colour on certain lines. One change done a huge amount. It did. I was so lucky. Because at first I was writing and I was adding it here and here. You'll note it adds it here, but then it misses one. Oh, and that changed, of course. That was the crucial bit because I cocked it up. I didn't change that, and then I started adding them here like twice and stuff, and that messed up. But luckily, my second attempt did work straight away. So. I think right now I've been doing paint sprite with a specific size. and I think that might just be fine. I mean, why not? Why not make the same that I've got for Draw Sprite and just make a load of convenient, just tailor-made paint routines? I don't know why I deleted them all, so I've got no like point of reference to start from here. I'll do it in character cell because last time I named it for pixels, didn't I? But I'm in two minds. Like the player is 2 by 3, isn't he? Or would I be better just sticking the same as the sprite, which would be like that? I think this time I'll go for the character cell. I mean, at least I can use this to get to the. Okay, so in this one I preload it. I want it preloaded, which happens here. I've got to be more careful with this one because I want to call it every frame for every sprite. So I want to try and think of the most optimal way I can think of to do it. Alright, let's think about this. I mean, I don't know why I still have to write all these notes to myself, but it does help me. The confusing part is because you have X in bytes already and Y is in pixels. But the bytes is obviously the same as a cell. But the Y is the confusing part. But what we want, there's 32 character cells in a line. So to work that as a 2D array, we can just do like address equals the attribute memory start plus Y times 32 plus X. And just triple check that's right. Because if it's wrong, and I write it like that, I'm going to end up spending ages like treating that like it's a part of the 10 Commandments when it's wrong. There's 32 cells. Yeah. So like I say, we want Y in cells times 32, which actually equates to 4. Y times 4. But that's confusing if you just read it out. You're like, why is Y 4? You know, where do you get the 4 from? But that's actually the width of the screen. After you take into account, or not the width. It is the width, yeah. It's bloody confusing. I've confused myself now. But that's going to do it for us anyway. So of course we'll have an input. We don't want to load. Well, I guess, yeah, why not? Like, what's really stopping us just putting that there, really? Ah, that's why. because it jumps back after changing HL, yeah. But we can use much the same as that actually. But I'll write it again, yeah. So I'll have an input HL equals OX right over here. So where it starts, blue, so yeah. That's what the comments are for too, right? So that's just checking we get to the end of the memory when I paint the background. I wouldn't say that's needed to paint the sprite. I think I'm just going to write it and see if I can get it working without even any guidance. I'm just aiming at obviously the origin right now of the sprite, so we don't even care how big it is. Because of course I should say, so we'll want to know the X and Y in advance. We've used that many a time, let's carry on doing it like that. So it's just trying to figure out how to do it really. HL already contains that value. In many of them, I remember doing it on the last game, we added that right at the end. Because you need to use HL to you have to use HL to add it all together like I do on the sprite drawing here. Do you know what? It doesn't even need to. We've got a constant for that. So hopefully this rewrite will get this even simpler than we had it before and still working. I'm just focusing on that bit right now. So of course you can't use A, and the reason for that is it's gonna. Oh, hang on a minute. These are only character cells, so we can use A. Wait a minute. If Y is 24, hello Microman. I gave you a shout out a moment ago. I don't think you were here, but I got my email and I realised you gave me a sizable donation. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to put it towards a new microphone very soon. Really appreciate that. Just wanted to say that before I've forgotten. Thank you, man. Yeah, and actually, if we think about it, oh yeah, Y is in pixels, so it will easily go over 255. So I have to not use A. So that's where it came into play. I've got to get that into L and then times it by 4, times HL by 4. Load L E. I wonder if that works. It might be as simple as doing that. I hope my head's not got this wrong, because this feels a bit different to how we did it before. At least we've got the last game as a reference if we get 2 stop. All I need to do is add X to it now, which is in D. But how can I do that? Oh, that's how I did it before, wasn't it? Get so many sound effects soon. We'll be hearing that all the time. Bit of fun, innit? A good laugh. I think this will work for us though. Look, that will clear what's in E and put D into it. So we should have X. I guess I now need to. I need to clear D out, and it's not add. It's load. Shame you can't. You have to X or A, I guess. Add HLDE. So that's just added the X. And then add HL. Oh, sugar. I don't know if you can add a constant with HL. I think I can load DE. Use my constant. It's just the same as what I know X58. Add that with HL. So that does look remarkably like what we had before now, actually. Bingo. So that should be origin cell. Let's just paint that one cell for now then, on all sprites and see what happens. So obviously I've just found a memory. I haven't painted it any colour yet. We'll want a colour as well before we call this. I tend to just use IYH for now, or IYL, but don't know if that's the best idea, but it worked for me last time. Let's just keep doing it. I think that'll be good. IYL is going to contain a constant of the attribute byte. It's just the ink color, isn't it? We want to mask it. Let me think here. I'm just going to invoke the game as it was a minute ago, just so I can look at the cards and remind myself how this works. Try and pause it. There we go. That white is ink. Now, if I'm painting a car, it's always going to have a black paper. But that would mean I'd have to write another routine that's different to paint Mikey. I think it's better now just to only paint ink. So it'll just want to take the paper colour and use that. Doesn't need to do anything other than that, does it? Let me think how I can do that. We'll want to take what's in HL for a start. Just pop that into B. Or D, why not? Just been using D. Then load A with IYL. No, that's completely wrong. I don't know what I was doing there. So what I've just done in this line above is take the existing color attribute data from that byte. I mean, I could easily ensure that the paper is always zeros, for example, on here if I wanted. There's definitely a really simple way of doing this, but my brain's not coming up with it right now. It's something like, well, the flash byte is always on, not flash, brightness. Because I decided to have a UI without the brightness, and then the game mode has brightness on all of it. And then it's paper this way around, isn't it? Alright, so it's going to basically wipe the ink away. It'll always be 0. But whatever's left in there will stay a 1 or a 0. I now really want to do the same thing with the colour we're inputting. The only reason I'm pausing with that is like I just said a minute ago, I could just make sure the constant colour is always zeros for those. I'm going to be calling this a lot, every frame on every sprite, including every white line in the road, every car, the ski shop and Mikey. So I'm going to save on instructions. I'm going to make sure the colour is just ink. Let's put ink colour. Ink only colour. I'll have to just remember for now about the brightness thing. So now I'll put that into D. And that's just the existing paper. Then load A with IYL. Or D. I think it's or. I thought I might be able to hover over or with this new lens thing. Yeah. Not very brilliant though. I'm not at a stage where I know straight off the bat with 100% certainty, but I think or means as long as one of them is 1, it will become a 1. So let me confirm that on my reference website. Yeah, so if either or both of them are 1, the result will be 1 from that. So now, of course, if they were all 1s in paper, we'd have that. And as long as this was all 1s in there, we'd have that. I think that's going to work for us. And at that stage, we just put it in there. That should just do it for the top cell, top left cell. So it wants IYL and DE and doesn't need anything more. I had this paint player thing. Let's get rid of that and just call paint sprite. Load IYL. Player ink. Oh, I don't think we've got a player color yet. No, we haven't. No. Player ink color, because that way if I search for it, I'll find it. I won't end up making 2 for the same thing. That should work. Let's make that. So I think it won't matter if I still add that as 0. I think we'd still end up with what we originally took. But I'll put it there anyway. Be interesting. I don't know if this will work straight off the bat. I'm a bit worried about this. Is that? I think that's black 00. Black paper. White ink. Maybe I'm wrong. I was correct. I mean, it's ready to roll. Hasn't done anything, and the game is glitching because of it. Let's change the colour. It's definitely ink down the bottom end, isn't it? Weird glitches, but no colours. What have I done wrong? Just out of interest, let's go straight, remove all that, and just put, probably won't let us do that, but I'll put load A. I really hope there's some colour there now, or flashing near him. It's nowhere near him, that something's right up with that code above, then must be to do with this. I really felt like that should work. Maybe HL, like maybe H wasn't 0. I guess I can just do that for X or A. Load HA. Oh, we've got something. Look at that, how strange is that look? Trippy. There's like 2 lots of it. To be honest, I thought it would be easy to do the Origin one. Cyberpunk 1980. I love it. That's got to come out, and that game. Cyber 1980s. Needs to be more stuff about the 80s. In the gaming world. I really thought the Origin would be easy, because it's only when you go down a line that you get caught out normally, in it, because you have to work out how many cells to go down and stuff. Why was it like to the right of him as well? It's most odd. I wonder if it's got anything to do with that buffer thing. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Because the player 0 is actually off the screen. So the positions are sort of correct. So let's just put that back there a sec. Oh, it went, oh, he's gone yellow. That's strange, that. Look at the right side of the screen. Some weird stuff happening here. It's almost like X is too big or something. I thought this would work when I wrote it. Because I had D with X and E with Y. And I took E here and used it. Then I loaded D into E. Then I made sure D was 0. And I added that to HL. Of course this would make no difference at all. I don't even know why I'm trying this. Gotta love it. The only downside with that is why can't people, I'd love it if people could just import their own, like not import their own sounds, but just pull in sounds from a sound bank somewhere. No, I like it, I like it. Interaction, innit? Maybe there's some better panels out there. I don't know why I picked that one out of all of them. Mm. Exactly the same. Same stuff, different colour. Oh, I'm sure I could upload my own, but what I meant by that was, like, you know, on Twitter, you have GIFs, and they just click a GIF button, don't they? And there's loads of GIFs. The users should be able to just click something and find their own sound. Maybe they can, maybe that's what you're saying. It seemed to me like I had to add them and approve, I had to bring the sounds in. There was still a list to choose from, but it meant me personally going in and clicking hundreds of sounds. Yeah, it could be dangerous, yeah. I like to put these like tests out there though for people, find out who we're dealing with. Well, it seems that's not what's breaking it, and I think that'll probably work. It seems to me that this is wrong. Hmm. I knew it'd go like this, didn't I? Where I'd try and draw it, I'd try and paint it, and I'd end up spending ages not getting it right. I could have, of course, just copied it in from the other one, couldn't I? Let's see if I can get a new window and see it. Alright, well this will be enough to get us started with. I'll pull in our paint player routine. So look, I did have to load H0. I didn't know I could just do that. Just directly gone for it instead. Looking much the same though. It's remarkable it's exactly the same. Because I just wrote them. I did not look at that, I promise you. And it came out, I think, identical almost. I think that lad who was in here the other night taught me how I could do that. I didn't think you could just load numbers into H like that. I mean, let's test it out. Just try calling paint player and see what happens. Of course, it's a different colour. That's the only thing. Let's just change black ink. Are you getting low internet? Low low bit rate from me. Sunspots. The Aussies are probably censoring, don't they? Censor everything. They probably realised, hang on, why are we letting this guy's ramblings through? This will probably work straight off the bat, won't it? And then it's just like, how? No, I bet it won't actually. No, the same sort of thing's happening. Oh, let's go over. And it's something to do with this window width that I've added. But I don't quite know what yet. Yeah, that's a shame, Mike. Hopefully it sorts itself out. Oh, we're back to normal. That's good. Well, at least I know my routine. Whoops. My routine would have worked. But I'm forgetting something about the width, I guess. I'm going to comment that out because I really don't want to use it. I want to try and make one that just paints them all. I will specify the size so I don't have to loop through or anything. I can just call it the specific size. Yeah, just playing 5G. Al Gore. Or what's his name? Is it Reagan? No. Who's the one with the floppy cheeks who's in Futurama? I'm not a crook. Is it Reagan? I don't know who it is. Nixon, that's it. Nixon. He's been immortalised in Futurama. You know, most of the world think of Nixon and they think of that now, I think. I mean, that's probably a massively incorrect statement. See, it shouldn't care. This calculation here shouldn't care about the window width, should it? Because it only works on the actual spectrum character cells. Maybe you're right, Fractal. I mean, I think they'll probably do the wired cables as well. I saw somewhere some video where they got something like 64 gigabyte per second on a mobile phone. Thousands of megabytes per second. It was insane. You couldn't possibly need that much just in your phone because the space, you'd fill up your hard drive within minutes. I suppose it still comes in handy if you want to download a 100 gigabyte file or something. 1 second later, you got it. Maybe that's true. I don't know anything about it. That video I saw, they were probably standing right next to like a receipt, transmitter or something. Moz, I'm exactly the same as that. I do use it in my car for tunes, and I have videos on in the background like you do, Mike. While I'm driving, though, I shouldn't, but it's just better than the radio. I don't look at it while I'm driving, but I listen. The only thing I can think of is that D&E are messing up somehow. I don't think they are actually, because when that other one puts play out, it takes them directly, and it had the same effect. Yeah, too right. Someone will want it. I mean, I don't. I'm not one to stand in the way of progress. One day in the distant future, gigabytes will seem tiny. One video, it'll probably be gigabyte per second or something, video quality and stuff like that. Oh, I'm stuck here That's weird. Oh, I didn't save it. What an idiot. Oh god, the player's gone. He's there somewhere. Invisible ink. Yeah, he's gone. Did I delete draw player? I think I just did, didn't I? That's what I've done. I thought it said paint player. I wasn't reading properly. No, that's not right. Oh god. Oh, right below. That certainly would. Yeah, so. Oh, it's so strange. It's really odd. I'm trying to work out what could cause that. I think that's just from where I went down and then up, and it left that. Oh no. Yeah, it is. It's just to my right as well. It's so strange. Ink draw index is wacky. The thing that really worries me is why is it not like in his top left corner? I just wonder, is it something to do with that offset? I'm going to try. So E equals X right there. Right, let's put it into A instead. Sub 2. Just a second. It's not really going to help, I don't think. It's now where I expected it to be. So I think the reason for that was the 2 offset that is used so that you can walk off the edge of the screen. And actually that's bang on now, isn't it? It's made all the difference. We've still got that problem where it's leaving the ink colour behind, and that's what I was talking about before. So that's why all the sprites are going to have this applied as well, so they'd all have their own colour, and it wouldn't matter that it would just overwrite it when it gets to it. See, the same thing's going to happen to the white lines. But that's actually working pretty much like I thought. Also, it's bugging out the UI, of course, because although look, what's going on? It's crashed again. The reason for that is I don't take into account at all if we get over to near the end of the screen, and we're talking about color cells here, so it's nothing to do with our pixel memory. Yeah, it's better, but still needs a lot. And I mean, the very quick way out of sorting that out is just if it gets too high with when you get X and Y, particularly Y, if he gets to the bottom line, you just return out, you know. I'm just trying to figure out why it was going over to that side. When would I expect it to go painted? If I get right to the edge, that's when I'd expect it. But that's not when it happens, look. It's over here. Ah, so it's when I go out of the screen. And that's because we're doing the sub 2. So we've got to do the same thing for both edges. Or all four, 3 of the edges. The left. Let me think about when we need it on the right. I mean, the right seemed okay. We really need to worry about the left and the bottom, which seems really odd. I think we probably do need to worry about the right as well. But the biggest worry is the first one to fix is the left side because that's easy. I mean, probably right at the top here. Load A D. Compare. We're using this number 2 a lot, and actually, I named it and I gave it a constant buffer side extra when I made the buffering routine, and that's actually where I'm getting that number from. So I'll check it against that. Yeah, and if it's less, just get out. And then the same for Y. Almost the same, except for this time, if it's more than or equal. So compare window height, which we don't have. I was thinking, I've named it game window. I wanted to change its name to game view. It would make things clearer, but I'd have to change it all over the place, so I ended up leaving it. But really, game view would have been nice and a clearer word for that. Because window, you know, I've used it here, buffer window. I guess window's the wrong name for that as well. They're not very well named, but I know what they mean. The game window is what you see, and the buffer window is what we can draw to. It's slightly wider. And that's why I didn't make height, because they are both the same height. But I'll put it there anyway. So it's 24 height. But we want to take away 1, because we've got to do more than or equal. And also we want to take away the player's height. But it's the player's height in cells. I'm just looking at your question about the sub 2. Maybe you didn't see this earlier, so I will, while I've got this code that will literally cause an error, so I won't lose it. Or will it? Let's just put help there. Right. What I changed overnight, or this morning actually, was I added a 2 width, and it's at both sides of this buffer. So here we ignore the first 2 bytes of memory from the buffer, and it allows me to draw stuff off the screen, just partially in the screen. And obviously at the other side it does as well, because I changed the size of the buffer. here. So when we draw to our buffer, like drawing to it the first time to the buffer, we have this value which amounts to 28. Good, good. So it's 4 wider than that, to each side. Ah, that's a real bugger. If I want this to be a generic, that's good actually. It's generic to that size. So let's just do 16 and then another one. Return will be more than equal to that. Oh, 16. It's stupidity. It's free. The answer. I don't know where I got 16 from. I think I times that by 8, but I don't know what I was doing. So if it's more than or equal to game window take away 4, game window height take away 4, we don't paint. Let's see if that works. It should work. The right side might be a problem still, but I'll go left. That's perfect, look. Let's see if I can get over there. Ah, we've messed it up already here somehow. I see the colour being left behind is another matter altogether. And of course it won't matter when Mikey's fully painted. You won't see that. But this bit over here I'm a bit concerned about. Let me see if the game crashes when I get down to the bottom, if I can ever get there. Ah, no, that collision. It's nowhere near. Oh, dude. I have to turn the cars down. The bike. Bang. Right. Sort of. That was funny, wasn't it? Okay. This is the other way around, I guess. I seem to remember it wasn't the other way around. So something managed to paint the UI there. But, oh, and I can still crush it. So it's something to do with the right side, I think. I didn't turn my attention to that, did I? Where was it? I'm working here. I believe we can just do another CP immediately there. Player max X. Take away. I don't want to make it like just about the player. Right. So it's still about the player. I know it looks very strange, but kind of makes sense to me why I've done it like that. It's just so that there's not all these, like a magic number 4 there. I can see why I've done that now. Hi, Spec Humpster. I saw a message. Was that not from you on GitHub about that as well? I couldn't respond though. It was on my phone. That's brilliant, man. That's weird how SNA didn't work for you. That's it. Yeah, about using the org. I did see it though. I did take it on board, but I didn't. I just read it whilst I was working, so I haven't managed to completely figure that out yet. Was that about the separate make tap file I'd made? You were saying I could get rid of that basically by using the end. Yeah, the SJSM. I noticed though you taught me a lot in that chat we had earlier on Discord because you can do that Control Shift B and it'll build with SJSM. And then I've got to create that. Basically, I learned I had to create that launch.json. I didn't even think about that before. Thanks, Spec. You're a legend. It always helps to have a working example to fall back on. It's worth its weight in gold. I mean, the sample project I did get that working, but I ran into problems when I tried to redo that. So I've got it working like actually twice. Once with you, then I deleted everything, tried to do it again, didn't work. Then I did it again, it did work, and then I did it again and it didn't work. So I still need some practice. Let's see how this one looks now. Brilliant. We've got nothing. We've got nothing bugging out the UI here now. Unfortunately, he's not been painted. That was a bit strange when we moved down there. Of course, up here will be because it hasn't been deleted. So when he hits the road, nice one, Spec. I'm sure I'll have to ask you again about just that final bit of compiling with SJSM. I kind of follow it until it doesn't work, and then I'm like, why the hell is it not working? Oh yeah, that list file thing confused the hell out of me as well, Microman. Yeah, the list and the JSON. Like the JSON didn't look too bad, but it includes that list, and that's where I got stuck and I had to go to work. Gave up with it. How far have you got in your MSX development then, Micro? Because it looked like you had some decent stuff set up there, like Asteroids game or something. Or is that one you downloaded? Someone else made it or something? Ah. So ever since I've added this, it's not painting in every frame anymore. Oh, that could just be that I need to do that again, isn't it? Look, as soon as it hits the road. Something's messing up with my brain here. Oh, and look, it has messed up over the UI. And it does still crash. Has that even crashed though? It's still running, I think. Sent the files on Discord. Thanks, man. I'll open it up now and have a little look, see. Hopefully it doesn't beep too much, Discord. It does murder him with that. I mean, I'm noticing I'm a long way off you guys. You know, I can tinker, and when things work, it's great. But it's sort of like I remember when I first done C++, and I couldn't even do linkers or anything. You know, if anyone's ever had to do linkers and libraries and dependencies. Oh yeah, we'll definitely be doing that, micro. Although the sprite, I don't know how much room I'm going to have for sprites. You've added the path. Yeah, it's in my path environment variable as well. That's it, but that's what I'm trying to say. You know, when you first start out in C++, you can spend weeks not being able to get it to link up. You don't know what the error message means. The same thing happens with what you were just saying there with the path. If you don't know what that is, you can spend weeks messing around. Well, not necessarily weeks with that particular problem. I've got the files there, Specky. I see Spec Chum, but I thought you were just called Spec Humpster. I thought it was two different people. Just worked it out. I'm slow, man. I'm slow. Awesome. Fair enough. I've downloaded the files, but of course I'm not going to jump into that this evening. I'm tired after a whole night's work. I'll be here for hours, and I won't even, I won't finish it. So, but tomorrow when I'm fresh, it looks brilliant because it looks like a very simple version of the project. You know, compare. The more simple, the better, isn't it? Oh, look, we don't return. Right, that can't have been. I can't have left that out. I can understand why he's not getting painted there because I've set that just one too many. But why not on the road? It's something to do with them oars and that, isn't it? Oh yeah, much easier to go on Discord with that for sure. Yeah, thanks, man. Then I'll be able to ask for help. I mean, hopefully, I'm getting near to. After your help today, I'm getting near to the stage where I can just follow the instructions now. The colours are a bit wrong because what I'm trying to do is we've definitely established that we're now at the sprite origin here, but then I'm taking the existing colour attribute, anding it so that it's masking out the ink. Putting that into D. Then I take my player's ink colour that I specify beforehand and OR it. So I thought that would leave the background untouched. Leave them all untouched, and then allow me to put into there. I made sure in the one that goes into IYL that these are all 0. Not that it would matter, I don't think, if I did put it wrong. He's reversed on the road. Yeah, I mean, the road has white ink, so that behaviour is normal, if you know what I mean. But the colour should still... Like, I'm painting only the ink, so I would have still expected the ink to be red there. But yeah, maybe I have done it the wrong way around. Let me see this colour attribute by just double check I'm not going silly. Yes, it is what I wanted, paper. Because then I put in the ink afterwards. But I want to keep that paper. Do you see what I mean? So there we're at all D. Good, I'm glad you agree. Have a little look at it if you don't mind. Because I think my logic is good. I take the existing one, and the paper, and the flash, the brightness. And then I OR this one, which is containing the ink. That's the bit I'm kind of worried about, but I think it works. I think it should work. Just while I'm waiting, I'll just go onto this guy's website where he has put the bite out nicely, and I'll write it out just to make sure. No, I'm 100% correct with it already, yeah. Yeah, look, IYL I load with this. Sorry. Here. So I really just want the last three 010. Is that red? 010? I've got constants for it up here. 010 is red, yeah. So the red ink does go there. That's it, yeah, you've got it right. I just put it there to remind myself as well. I was pretty certain. I might just pop it at the top of this colours file forever now, and then we'll never have to remember. We'll never have to worry about remembering. There it is. The and. So if the paper was 000 and you and it, it's going to remain 000, isn't it? The B is just brightness. So look, I can easily demonstrate that with this project actually. You see that? That's white, but not bright, that grey colour. And then the pavement is white with the bright on. So it does make quite a big difference on the white actually. I'd say that's like the most pronounced difference out of all of the colours actually. But it makes no difference on black. Yeah, it's a strange system. I don't think the MSX does that, does it? It has more colours, the MSX. Not that I know anything about MSX, but I've got this cheat sheet for Z80, and I seem to remember it had quite a lot of colours on the MSX one. I mean, I'm kind of thinking this just looks fine. Let me double check. Road colour. Yeah, so road. Ah, look at that. Hang on a minute. No, that's fine. I mean, the road only gets painted once at the start of the level anyway. But it's only them three I want to worry about. Strange one. Well, just as a little test, I'm going to not do any of that masking. I'm just going to poke in. Can you do IYL just like that? Might be able to. So, oh, what? We're not even red at all now. What have I done in there? I can't see why that would fix it. It has though. So of course the ore was working like that. That's what it would have done if we didn't do this. And we still go red there. White there. Hmm. I've just seen your message. Letter. I get you. I'll merge. Okay, thank you, man. I'll try that in a second. I just want to see if it was when I added that made this occur. Because is it getting the Y value wrong? Yes, it is. Look. But now look, it's messing up. So something in this calculation is wrong, isn't it? No XOR in 605 6502. I did not know that. Z80 is a bit of a powerhouse, isn't it? Oh, my brain's messed something up here. Eeyore. Never heard of Eeyore yet, anyway. Right, let's have a look before that goes off. X. So load a HL and then put that into D. Yeah. Oh, so you probably do the AND first. You probably meant that. Oh yeah. Is it possible to do that? I think it is, isn't it? So not you don't want that one, that other hand that I've done. I take it. Yeah. Um. Right. I've confused this. Take the existing bit. Bite. Put the ink into D. Thing with Exor, won't that mean it'll reverse some of them? Oh god. I do apologise for this, I'm being well thick. One or the other, but not both, yeah. So I'd have to be careful not to put anything in, make sure it is just ink only basically, which is fine. Hey Chroma, thanks for the help earlier with the debugging. I am going to get to using that tomorrow. I'm going to try again with that. I made a big amount of progress today with it, but not quite enough to get it working on my new game, on my games here. But thanks, Spikie. Let's have a look at that then. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Don't worry. So I believe that's what you've typed, and that includes getting it all and putting it in there. Yeah, it's just something to try. Yeah, I fear it won't work because I think it's basically the same as what I just did, except for I could like put anything I wanted in the paper with of what this one, and it wouldn't have mattered. Maybe I'm wrong. Like it's very possible I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Right, it's looking great here. I think I've realised what the problem. Well, no, I haven't. I haven't at all. Of course, when Mikey's all getting painted, it does basically swap, but I could have it any colour I wanted. Do you see what I mean? Because it doesn't actually swap ink and paper. It's just the values swap. Look, here's where I draw the background. Paint the background. So I start out as pavement colour. I go through until it gets to a certain line. Then I change it to road colour. Each time painting a line. When the line is at a certain line, I go back to pavement colour. And they are just here. Pavement colour. Road colour. What I was trying to do was take what's in. in them three and put it into what I've got into IYL here. I'm sure it can be done. Like I'm sure we're very close. That's the only bit I'm sure of. Bit below that and above. See, if I do and here, oh, what the hell's going on with my system? Big delay when I type. If I do and, now I know that ink is 0. This could be either. When I'm hitting the road, it goes to zeros. It would still be zeros. So I don't think I've broke it by doing that. I've just made sure there's no ink. I'm sure all would do it. It's so strict. Got a huge delay on typing. What the hell? I just want to check if I get to the bottom, does he paint again? Because I've got some weird feeling that the X and Y values are messing up. No, it doesn't look. So I don't think it's got anything to do with the actual colour of the background. I think it's like a coincidence. I can explain that, why it doesn't paint there. We're only talking about his top left cell at the moment as well. So the reason it doesn't paint there is because I stopped him moving. Here, take one of them ones away. Should work that now. Of course, at the moment this code's so terrible that I'm only checking and exiting when I find the origin, and he's too wide, 2 cells wide, so I have to check and bear in mind that if he's off the screen I don't want to paint him. So the quickest way was just to do it like that. So if he gets only 1 cell away, I stop painting him. Eventually, once I've got this working properly, I'll write it, I'll check, I'll do this check here on every cell that we paint. So if we move to the right and paint, and then it's too high, then it will exit out. That's a bit further on because I want to get it working first. I just wonder, is this why? So that kind of proves to me that the X here is working in D, because I was able to fine tune it there and it worked just as I expected. But the Y is really bothering me. I bet you now he'll paint on the road, proving that the OR code was working. Yeah. But now we're getting these glitches at the side, seemingly almost random. And if you get down here, it'll crash. Oh, I'm in the hut. It'll crash. Yeah. But you see what I mean? That's definitely doing what it's supposed to do. But for some reason, I think the Y is wrong or something. Because this shouldn't affect the drawing. Do you understand? Like it's turning out too early. It shouldn't affect the painting. Sorry. But we are only talking about character cells, so it's not like I should put this as a value in pixels. Oh, yes it is. At this point, Y is still in pixels. That's what the answer is. So what I actually want is 192 take away 24 take away 1. In fact, if it's more than or equal, that should do it. We haven't got any glitches so far. Now we have. Ah, look at that! It shrunk the game window. Did you see that? I'd love to know how I did that. Only for the paint. We're painting the character cells. So as far as I know, you can't. I mean, I know you can do an 8x1 character cell if you're really clever. But you know, I can't even manage the 8x8 ones yet. Yeah, that suddenly hit me there. The Y value, I convert it here by only timesing it by 4 when I really want 32. That's why. I even said when I did that, that's going to catch me out. That's basically the answer though. There's another reason for this crashing then, clearly. Perhaps if I just go like 8, let's just stop it at 8 higher. In fact, let's just say 9. I don't care if it doesn't get painted sometimes for now. I just want to try and stop it crashing. I'll also put -1 there, so that. So now it's very not good because he can go like right to the edge of the screen and not get painted. But oh look, it's even worse. I get that. That's because he's not fully in a character cell. But I don't get why it's painting the UI there. Weird. So only certain angles. I do wonder, is this to do with the speed? Maybe it's when I turn. Although it felt like when I was in a straight line, but in the pavement with my head. I will check Discord. I bloody just had an idea though, and I've forgotten it. Let me do that. I don't want that. Oh yeah, I just want to quickly slow it down the game, just to see if this still occurs. And yes, it does. Maybe it is when I turn. No, like I was moving straight in. So it's absolutely nothing to do with the speed of the game. It seemed to make no difference that. Oh, thanks, Spec. Let's have a look at that. I love the logo with Bazinga. Reminds me of the good old days. Excuse me. It just looks so scary when you look at it on GitHub with a white screen and like it's all spaced out, like big spaces. It looks so massively scary. That whole program, yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's make a new file, bazinga.asm. Oops. Here it is in all its glory. Yeah, thanks, Becky. There's something about the game coding community and just coding in general. Well, it's very sharing and caring, isn't it? You know, like I got that vibe when I started writing code that worked. I just suddenly had the urge to share it. You know, I don't know why. It just happened. Pixel address. So that's straight into the screen memory. Yeah. Okay. There'll be colours here somewhere. It's much like the one I had before this. I used something very similar to that. That's going to be good. It's much quicker than mine, isn't it? I'm going to take it that's the same as doing that. I don't know. I hope it is. Or is that memory address? 58. Oh, is that the upper bit? I think I get that. Don't know what that means yet. Wow, that bit looks like black voodoo magic to me. They are both for hex. Okay, that's good. Thank you. It's a table, right? I got that much just from the name, but what the hell? It seems to just have one value in it. I take it that is the same as. That's probably the same as. I take it. If I put that into my calculator. No, it's not. Oh, wait there. What's wrong? What's wrong with my calculator? It is the same as that. Brilliant. So I get that that's doing what I actually wrote here, isn't it? That looks like what I wrote here. Here, but I exchanged. That should be 32, but of course it's already times by a factor of 8 when it reaches here. So I put 4 to remind myself that. It's a shame there's not a paint cell, draw color to cell. I suppose get character address would do the same thing, wouldn't it? I could just say get character address, put this ink in there. So inputs DE, outputs at HL. Get attribute address. Okay. Is that different then? Are they not the same size? A character is locked to one attribute cell, isn't it? Okay. Character sounds like a character cell to me. Like a pixel would be a pixel, wouldn't it? Okay, get attribute address. Even easier. Oh wow, inputs on HL and outputs. Oh, I see, yeah. Okay, so this actually takes into account the weird screen memory and everything. Awesome. Okay. I love that double buffering though. That makes that whole drawing much easier because I just draw everything in a linear array. Alright, so how do I do this? We're using this function. Get attribute address. Screen byte address. You was watching them nice micro. Did you notice I added to it today? I think I put it onto the GitHub like double buffering 2.0 just as a tongue-in-cheek title. But then again, it doesn't quite. It does affect all this code. It's messed up the sprite drawing code and everything. Oh, I see. Okay, thanks, Spec. Let's try and give that a run. I'm going to call it Bazinga Paint. It's just going to paint one cell right now at the player's origin, or whatever origin I feed it. So HL is position, yeah? And was it YX on your one? Screen address. I might need to adapt this. This doesn't actually fit in with my way, does it? Because of my buffer. routine. Like the player or any sprite has an XY position. But you'd never really know its memory position on the system, on the screen, like the Spectrum screen memory. That just gets handled by double buffering with all the pushes and pops. Ah, sorry, dude. Ah, mate, you're on a ledge. That's a beauty. Oh, I didn't look at what the inputs were. DE, and that's it. God, I didn't check which way round you did it. It's YX, yeah, okay. It really does. This is what I was aiming at making. You know, when I was writing my code, I was hoping I'd make it like this tidy in the end. But I just found myself worrying about whether it works so much. I never got round to making it so generic like this, if you know what I mean. But that's what I was aiming at doing. Alright, so if DE already equals that, we should be able to just call that. And now they equal, now HL equals the attribute address, exactly. Okay, that sounds convenient. Need XY. You sure? I remember when I wrote one very similar to this and I had Y first. Called the wrong one. Oh, good shout. Man, you're so clever. Get Atra XY. Should be called YX really, shouldn't it? It's that convenient though, isn't it? Now I can literally just say, okay, do this stuff. I bet we end up with the exact same result. But yeah, YX actually is better because it, for some reason, it always ends up better to do YX, doesn't it? It's because you can load, you can have like some Y, DB0, DB1, some X, DB2, and then you can load it into DE like that, can't you? And it will have both of them, which baffled me for so long. I still don't fully get it. But it would remind you, wouldn't it? Oh, it didn't like that. Why didn't I just click there? HL output. Perfect. Yeah, good for you, man. It's a great little thing. It's exactly what I was aiming at doing if I didn't keep getting lost in like, actually trying to get it working. Oh, I haven't included it. Right, moment of truth. Come on. Oops. Oh, it's still glitching, but it's some other problem. I believe that my code was almost equivalent to yours, to be honest, just in a much crappier, slower, and less elegant way. I lost what I was tracking. Yeah. Of course, I should probably do these again in the new one. Give it half a chance of working. Looking good so far. Oh, same sort of stuff happening. The good thing about this is that I'm kind of convinced that, that was one thing I was worried about, whether my code worked. But we've now tried two versions of the same sort of thing. Oh, hang on, no, I still haven't called Bazinga Paint. And DE has to be the position. Of course, it's so easy to miss something when you're tired, and on assembly language particularly. I think player Y is first. Yeah, so I can actually load DE player Y. Although doesn't it load in backwards or something? We'll figure it out anyway. Cool Bazinga. Oh, okay, that hasn't worked whatsoever. Let's go back. Take this rubbish away for a minute. I don't think that will fix it. No. So my thing is probably wrong here. That's probably actually put X into D. It's strange how it works. It flips them round. Let's just do, just to be doubly sure, let's do it my way. Player Y, D. Oh, got to zoom in on this. So it's a static. It's drawing this. How can that be the case? It seemed to not care whether I was moving or not. Of course it works. I'm applying it wrongly. I like that. Bloody good work, Spec Chum. Well, just to be stupid. I mean, for a start, these are the wrong way round. Code lens is installed, yeah. But I had to also include this. Otherwise, personally on my machine, several times I lost like the comment function and stuff like that. These are wrong because they're X. They're thinking that these have got X. So first I'll just try and comment them out, but well, no, let's switch them around. So that probably won't fix it. Well, one down there got painted. I find that bizarre. Why it's not moving? What the heck? Comment that stuff out. I'll just try. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Spec. But why is it not moving? That's what I didn't get. Must be a glitch, isn't it? Like we see in the UI. Okay, dude. Thanks for the help. Cheers, man. I won't be up for much longer either. Maybe tomorrow I'll have a fresher mind. Might fix it straight away. You never know. I was going to try switching these around as well, just to see if that helped. Nah, didn't help at all. It's a weird one. This one I wrote earlier was kind of close. It had, it was red and all that. Of course, this doesn't even take the colour into account, does it? I've got to add the colour to it. Okay. Odd. I'm puzzled here. So Y definitely has D. D has Y and E has X. So that's good. I can't see this helping it, but did DE somehow get corrupted by all these checks? The problem is, I can't do that, can I? Because if it returns without popping, I'm sure it's okay. Well, I'll have one more smoke and then I'll come up with one more little thing to try. I knew this would happen, didn't I? I knew it. That's why I was sort of thinking about staying away from colouring in sprites. Because it wasn't needed to make the game playable, but would make it look a lot more impressive. You know, it'd make a much better thumbnail, better post on Twitter with coloured in cars and player, but the game wouldn't have got a lot better. And instead, I've spent the whole night just trying to do it. I knew this would happen. We'll get there in the end. I hope it's not one of them ones I sort out offline and then I have to just show you how it's done. If that is the case, perhaps I'll do one of them videos I used to do where I've already got it saved, but I'll show you how properly how I did it. Because for some reason that seemed to not even be moving when we used Bazinga Paint. Like there's just some random colour cells. It's freaking weird that. Why doesn't it move? Why is it just painted certain cells? Because here's where we could. Oh, maybe, but I'm not so sure it is that micro actually. Because it's only the ink colour, so the road has no ink colour. That's why you don't see it until the player walks over it. So it's not any drawn stuff, if you understand. It's only the player ink that's getting painted there, and it's always in the same space. It never moves. Yet here, where we actually ask it to, God, what did I just do? I just deleted the whole file and can't undo it. Here's where it is. And it wants the position in DE. Seems to be doing that in the most efficient possible way. Just doing what I was doing, where I was doing all them adding and minusing. Oh well. Maybe just pop it back into this one instead. Hmm. So this kind of works now, but why the heck is it going into the UI? Of course, I'm very thankful for Spectrum giving me that Bazinga code, but for now I'm going to stick with my one because although it is clearly slower and I've got to call this on like 15 sprites every frame, but at least I understand how it works, and perhaps the way I'm doing the position with the buffer, I need to come up with some extra thought rather than just poking DE with YX. It's clearly not working. It might be something as simple as uh, taking that offset off, the sub, where I had to do this. In fact, that's almost certainly what it is, isn't it? You see, it's not as easy as doing that though. Maybe I can do. I just want to sub 2 off E. And that might actually work now. I'll go back to. So I'll switch that back around. So it's not great. It does seem that's not moving now though. It is moving, I mean, it's just it moves in weird increments. Much work to be done. I hate ending a video without finalising it. I think what I'm going to do to end the video is go back yet again to my one. Hey, you right, Jamie? I'll go back to my one. Pop the call to my one there. Exactly. You got to keep repeating it. I've repeated the same mistakes over and over, but bits do sink in along the way. God, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm just going to paint all the cells and just see how that looks. Like all the cells of the character. And then I might even have time to quickly make the cars as well. So ink HL, do the same. This time we'll load D E with 31 because we've moved forward once already. And then simply do the same thing. Oh, except for there's 3 lines, isn't there? 3 rows. That's 2 whole rows and we're now on the 3rd. There, that should just paint all 6 cells the same colour. And in fact, let's just copy paste that. And I'll make one for the bikes. I mean, with them bikes flying around, this is going to break instantly, isn't it? It's going to look horrible, but the player should already be getting painted now. Let's have a look. He is. That when you move down is fine. I expect that. It's because we're halfway between character cells. And of course I'm not painting the lines. I didn't expect that one on the right. I don't know what's going on with that. I got hit by a car. Before I do anything with the vehicles, I need to figure out what's going on with that. Like, why is it painting other cells at the same time as this one? That's all I need to find out right now. Can't imagine why. But I think that's a job for tomorrow. It's getting too late for me right now. Got a full week of work ahead of me as well. Not looking forward to it on the weekend. It's taking shape. See, the colour is the most easiest one out of the two. I don't know why. I can handle the pixels now, you know. I've normally got my head around them. But the colour always gets me. It's really, really odd. But I will figure it out. Probably know me. I'll do it tomorrow when I wake up. And then I'll show you how. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for all the commenting. We're getting quite a healthy community here now. I'm a member of a few other Discords as well, so I drop in there, say hi. We'll build it up. I'll get the better microphone in a matter of weeks. Just when I've got enough free time. Yeah, thank you guys. Good night. I'll be on. I may well be on in the day tomorrow as well, if I manage to fix this. But if not, most definitely same time tomorrow night. Look forward to it. I'll see you then. Have a good night. Goodbye. I'm not sure about the mic yet. That's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm going to take a few weeks. Make sure I've got time to pick a good one. Because I already bought one and it's crap. But yeah, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. I'm going to get off now. Speak to you again soon. Goodbye.